Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to tackle a phrase I bet you've heard 1,000 times, and one that's way more complicated than it sounds.
Yeah, we've all heard it, right? Fake it till you make it. It can sound like this amazing key to unlocking confidence, but it also has this really dark side. And today, we're going to look at both.
All right, so let's dive in. And the best place to start is with this simple, powerful idea that really launched this phrase into the stratosphere. And it comes from social psychologist Amy Cuddy.
We're going to start with this really seductive promise that you can actually change how you feel, how you act, and even how your life turns out, just by changing how you hold your body.
So, Amy Cuddy noticed something fascinating. Across the entire animal kingdom, and with us humans too, power is expressed through body language. You know, when we feel powerless, we close up. We make ourselves small, hunch over. But when we feel powerful, we expand. We open up, take up more space, kind of like an athlete who just crossed the finish line first.
And here's where it gets really interesting, the science behind it. It turns out that really effective leaders tend to have high levels of testosterone, which is the dominance hormone, and low levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. Their body chemistry is basically primed for them to be assertive and to handle stress really well.
So this led Cuddy to a pretty radical question. What if we could flip that script? I mean, we know our minds change our bodies, but could our bodies change our minds? Her research suggested, yeah, that just by holding one of these high-power poses for 2 minutes, you could actually increase your testosterone and decrease your cortisol. Basically, you could make yourself feel more confident and less stressed out right before walking into a big meeting or a job interview.
But what happens when faking it isn't about you psyching yourself up in private? What happens when it's about public deception and when it goes horribly wrong?
$9 billion. That number right there, that was the peak valuation of a company called Theranos. It's a company that really became the poster child for taking the fake it till you make it idea to its most destructive end.
And the story of its founder, Elizabeth Holmes, is, well, it's a huge cautionary tale. She was celebrated as the next Steve Jobs, but that ambition, that self-confidence, it just tipped right over into self-delusion and eventually massive fraud. See, Theranos made this incredible promise that they had a machine that could screen for hundreds of diseases with just one drop of blood. It was this amazing, world-changing vision that brought in billions of dollars from investors. There was just one tiny problem. The technology never actually worked.
And look, this wasn't just being a little too optimistic as an entrepreneur. Theranos knew their tech didn't work, and they sent out faulty blood tests to actual patients. They gave people fake results, putting their health, their lives at risk. The lie got so big that the whole company imploded, and it all ended in federal fraud charges.
Okay, so this is the big question, right? Where is the line? When does having that bold, ambitious vision turn into dangerous, outright fraud? Well, it turns out there are some pretty clear rules here.
The writer Herbert Louis laid this out perfectly. There is a huge difference between telling a story about a future you believe you can build and telling a lie about a past you never actually achieved. One is having a vision, the other is just fraud.
Let's make this super clear with a couple of examples. You've got Bill Gates, who famously sold software for a computer he didn't even have yet, but he was projecting a future he knew he and Paul Allen had the skills to create. Now contrast that with the truck company Nikola. They made a video of their prototype truck to make it look like it was working, but all they did was roll it down a hill. They were straight up lying about the present.
So here it is, the simple litmus test. The question you have to ask is the story you're telling about what will be, and is it grounded in skills you actually have? Or are you twisting the facts about what is or what has been? That, right there, is the line.
And this is where it all comes back around. We're going to go back to Amy Cuddy's original idea, but now we can see it with a much deeper, much more powerful understanding of what this whole thing really means.
You see, in her famous talk, Cuddy told this incredibly personal story about herself. After a bad car accident, she had a brain injury and her IQ dropped significantly. She was even told she might not finish college. So when she finally made it to a top school like Princeton, she felt like a total fraud, like she didn't belong at all and was going to be found out any second.
The night before a huge presentation, she went to her advisor and said, "I'm quitting." And her advisor said something that completely changed her life. She told her, "You are going to fake it. You are going to do every talk they ask you to do. You're just going to keep doing it until you have this moment where you realize, oh my gosh, I'm doing it. I have become this."
And that is the real heart of this idea when it's used correctly. It's not about fooling other people. It's about talking to yourself. It's about using your body, your actions, to practice being the person you want to become. You do it over and over until one day it's not practice anymore. It's just who you are. You've internalized it. These tiny tweaks really can lead to big changes.
So, at the end of the day, fake it till you make it really boils down to one critical question. It's all about your intent. Are you faking it to become something better? Or are you faking it to deceive everyone around you? The answer to that question makes all the difference in the world.